next book I read, oh my gosh, this might be the worst book I've ever read, and I'm being so for real. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Morgan, and today I am finally doing my July and August 2024 reading wrap up. Oh my goodness, this has taken me so long to film. It's literally the end of September and I'm finally filming this for July and August because I never did it for July, so I'm just gonna combine it with August. I didn't really read that much in August anyways, but I still do have a lot of books to get through, so I'm not gonna go too in depth with all the books. I'm just gonna kind of do a general, like what I was thinking, like what the book is kind of like about, but not like, I'm not gonna spoil anything, and I'm not gonna like go too into details. I'm mainly just gonna focus on like the type of book it is, just my thoughts on it, and you know, whatever. It's the same as any reading wrap up. Okay. Anyway, so the first book that I read in July was Funny Story by Emily Henry, and this was like a super anticipated read for me. I was so excited because I love Emily Henry's books, as I feel like most people do. Well, not everyone, but I feel like a lot. Like, she's very popular. So I was very much so looking forward to this book, and I did really enjoy it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. There were like certain parts that were kind of iffy. That's the only reason I didn't give it a 5. Daphne kind of annoyed me sometimes with like, I forget, like, okay, keep in mind, I read these books 2 months ago and I don't have a great memory, so a lot of this is going to be hard for me to describe. Oh, I remember what I didn't like. I hated her parents. Daphne's parents, like, kind of ruined the whole book for me. Like, I don't know why. Like, something about them, it just felt so unrealistic, which maybe like parents actually do act like that, but I don't know, like something about it, I just didn't like that whole part. And then like the conflict that happened was not like my favorite thing. Like, it just wasn't that good to me, but overall I did enjoy the book. I loved Daphne and Miles' chemistry and everything. So Funny Story is about this girl named Daphne who was engaged to her fiance Peter. However, they just broke off the engagement because Peter realizes he's actually still in love with his childhood best friend, Petra. Petra's ex is Miles, so Daphne ends up moving in with Miles because Peter takes their house and she doesn't really have anywhere else to live, and Petra had been living with Miles, so Daphne basically just takes Petra's room in Miles' like apartment, and they pretty much, like, Miles and Daphne don't really talk that much. Like they'll say like good morning and stuff, but nothing personal. They don't really talk. However, one day they're both really upset about their breakups and they decide to form a friendship and pretend like they're dating, kind of I guess to make their exes jealous, and yeah, things happen. So it was definitely a good book. I would recommend. I feel like Emily Henry always incorporates so many lessons and stuff in her books, like outside of just romance. There's like lots of friendship elements and everything. So I did really enjoy it and I would recommend. Just, there's like a part, like it's like 3/4 into the book probably, where her parents come, and that whole time of the book which just felt like it didn't need to be there, and I didn't like it, but other than that, it was good. So the next book I read in July was You'd Be Home Now by Kathleen Glasgow. And Kathleen Glasgow has honestly become one of my absolute favorite authors. Like, her books are just so good at describing like mental health, and just like, they're really good YA books. I definitely recommend them. They're very deep, very heavy books, and also definitely read the trigger warnings before reading her books, especially like any of them, because from all the ones I've read, they've been very heavy and a lot. But this book was so good. It's about this girl named Emery. Her sister is Maddie, who's like this like really popular girl, and she's kind of just known as Maddie's younger sister. And then her older brother, Joey, he's like always been known as being into like drugs. Her brother actually ended up getting in a car accident and somebody's killed, and this reveals really just how bad Joey's drug habit is. So he gets sent to rehab, and then Joey comes home from rehab, and Emery starts her junior year of high school, and it's very difficult because there's all these people around her like that know about what her brother did, so they're very like angry and all that, and she has to kind of just navigate high school with all that on her back, and it's a lot. So she kind of just has to figure out how to, you know, make her way through life and everything. And she also has this like guy that lives next door who's like very popular, and she has this like secret thing going on with him. It's a lot, but yeah, I definitely recommend. I feel like Kathleen Glasgow, her writing is really good, and like her books are very important to read. Oh wait, did I even say I gave You'd Be Home Now a 5 stars? I am a mess in this video. Like, what am I doing? The third book I read in July was Ghosts by Dolly Alderton. And I gave this book a 4 stars out of 5. It was so good. I really enjoyed it. It's about this girl named Nina. She is a food writer and she's in her early 30s. She has a really nice family, friends, home, everything, and she's in a new neighborhood, but she's really struggling with like the whole dating world. So she ends up meeting this guy named Max on a dating website, and he's like, seems to be like this perfect guy, tells her that he's gonna marry her on date 1. She feels like this new relationship could be like great, and she's like, it came at the perfect time, like I'm in my early 30s. Like, she feels like society puts this pressure on people to like be in relationships at this point in her life, so she's like, wow, this is perfect, finally have someone. However, this guy maybe isn't as perfect as she thought, and then, you know, she just has to kind of navigate the struggles of her friendships that are fading out. Her exes are all moving on, and she just feels kind of lost, I feel like. But I definitely think this book is also super like real and definitely helps teach a lot of like lessons in life, shows a lot of the struggles that so many of us will go through or have gone through, and I think it's a very, very enjoyable book. The only reason I didn't give it a 5 is because I feel like the main character, Nina, she was a little clueless at some points. Like, she could have, I feel like there were a lot of signs. That's all I'm gonna say. Lots of red flags. Next book I read was Just Last Night by Mahari McFarlane. I'm sorry if I didn't say that right. And I gave this book 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. The writing, amazing. The plot, amazing. So good. This book was like a romance, but also like very much so about friendships and relationships just in general. And oh, it was so good. So it's about Eve, Justin, Susie, and Ed. They've all been friends since they were teenagers, and they met, I think, at like college or something. I don't know, but they're in their 30s now. They're still super close. They go to trivia nights all the time, and Eve is keeping a secret though that she's actually still in love with Ed. They used to like date back in like college or something, but she's actually still in love with him, and he actually has a girlfriend. However, something really traumatic happens and their lives are changed forever. Now Eve has to grieve, and also she's like learning all these new secrets from her past about her relationship with Ed, all this different stuff. It was so good though, this book. I really, really, really highly recommend. The next book I read was 910, a September 11th story by Nora Rayleigh Baskin. This book I gave 4 stars. It was definitely really good. It was super short. I only read it because my sister took it at the library, and then I didn't have anything to read, so I was like, I'll read that. And it was definitely a good book. I mean, like, I wouldn't like say like go out of your way to read it, but it's definitely a very like touching story. It's about like 9/11, kind of like what these 4 different kids were doing during when it happened, and like the ways it affected each of them individually. And I definitely think it's a very like important book. I feel like this would be a great book for like kids to read at school, for like learning about like 9/11 and the effects of it, because like you don't really realize how it affected all these different people from like all different places in the world. Like, they weren't even all like in New York, like they were in different spots in the world, but it like affected everybody. I definitely think it's like a great read. It's very important, I feel like, and yeah, I did enjoy it. Okay, the next book I read was The Romcoms by Catherine Senner. I literally ate this book up. Like, I love Catherine Senner. She has become literally one of my favorites. I love her books. I don't know what it is. Oh my gosh, this book was just everything. Funny, cute, emotional, so fun to read. Like, I loved it. So it's about this girl named Emma Wheeler. She wants to be a screenwriter. She gets a really great opportunity from her friend to screenwrite, like co-screenwrite or rewrite a script thing for this like really famous screenwriter, Charlie Yates. Charlie Yates is like her idol. Like, she loves him. And so she ends up going to LA to write this play for him, and then she finds out that Charlie never actually wanted her to do that. Like, doesn't want to write with anyone. Her friend kind of tricked her because he thought he could convince Charlie to write it with her like as soon as she showed up. So then Emma gets really mad and all this stuff, but Emma does not go down without a fight, and she stands up for herself and for rom-coms. Oh, because Charlie has to write a rom-com, and he's never written rom-coms before, and like Emma is super into rom-coms, so actually they do end up writing it together and all the stuff, but it's really good. I love this book so much. Like, Charlie was so cute, and like I loved Emma too. Like, I just loved them both, and such a cute book. Next book I read in July was The Summer After You and Me by Jennifer Salvato Doktorsky. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. This is not a super popular book. I heard about this book through Sarah Caroli because it takes place in like the Jersey Shore, and Sarah Crowley lives in New Jersey, so I guess the author just like sent it to her. I kind of ate this book up. It doesn't have great reviews, and I like get it. Like, it was very cringy and like not the best writing I've ever seen, but I kind of ate up the drama. Like, there was so much drama and I was living for it. It's like literally like high school drama, like teenage drama, but like I was eating it up. So I don't know, but I recommend it. It's not for everyone, I'm sure. Like, a lot of people probably be like, what even is this, like super cringy? But like, I kind of loved it. Just like about this girl named Lucy, and she's like these two boys and everything like that she's like likes, but she can't really decide, and all this stuff. But I loved it. Next book I read was Darling Girls by Sally Hepworth. I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. It was like fine. I think it was good. Like, the beginning was like good. Like, when we got introduced to all the characters, it was like good. But then like in the middle part, it just kind of was like, what am I even like? It kind of got really boring and repetitive and just like really boring. And I was just like, I don't know where we're going with this. Then the like last couple pages though were crazy. Like, I was like, oh my gosh. So like that kind of helped it, but like most of the book was kind of mid, so that's why I gave it 3 stars. But like, there were good parts, definitely. I would recommend it, but just keep in mind, like, some of it is a little slow. It's about these 3 young girls who go to this foster mother named Miss Fairchild, and she seems to be a really like amazing, great foster parent, but then she actually ends up not being good. She's like abusive and just not good at all. I'm trying to remember the ending. All I know is it was really good. I just don't remember. Oh, the thing is, it wasn't like thrilling. Like, it wasn't like suspenseful, like super like anything. It was kind of boring. But the last, I forget how it ended, but there was like, my jaw was on the floor. Like, I was like, oh my gosh. I don't remember what it was though. I'm gonna have to look it up because I don't remember. But so that was actually the last book I read in July. So now moving on to August. First book I read in August was The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. And this book got a 3 out of 5 stars for me. It wasn't like the best, but it wasn't bad. Like I said, like, I've read this like a little while ago, so I kind of forget, but there was something about it I didn't really like. It's about this girl, Jess, who ends up using this new DNA matchmaking thing that's made by, I think his name's River. So River made this website that's like a DNA matchmaking thing. So Jess takes the thing and she ends up getting a 98% compatibility with River. So they want to like kind of navigate the relationship and everything and like see if it's accurate, if like this 98%, because when they first met each other, they did not have a good meeting. Like, Jess was like really turned off by River and thought he was like not a good person. So when they get this 98% compatibility, she's like, feels like that can't be right. So kind of as a test, they end up going on a couple like dates and stuff to see if they think it's accurate and stuff. And I liked the book, but I don't know, there was like some parts I was just like, didn't love. I don't think I really liked River that much either. I don't know if I didn't like River or if I didn't like Jess, or if it was both, or I don't know. Next book I read was Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Oh my gosh, like, this was such a highly anticipated read for me. Like, oh my gosh, like, so highly anticipated. And I hate to say this, but I didn't really like it. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, which is honestly kind of generous. Like, no, it wasn't my favorite, but I think I'm gonna go back because I never read The Assassin's Blade, which is like the novellas that come before it. I never read that. I meant to read that before I read Throne of Glass, but I totally forgot, and I just like read the book and I was like, oops. But it's fine, I'll go back and read that. But I don't know. Selena, I don't know how to say her name. Selena? They probably said it in the book, I forget. She's like this like deadly assassin, and like there's like these 23 different killers, thieves, and warriors, and they all go into this competition, including her. And like whoever wins will be the king's champion. I'm sorry, but Selena, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm sorry if I'm not. She just was not like giving deadly assassin at all. Like, I don't understand how she was supposed to be like this like scary, like deadly, like crazy killer. Like, I just wasn't getting that vibe personally, and I feel like that's what kind of threw me off from the whole book, because I was like not getting that vibe at all. But yeah, it wasn't my favorite, honestly. I'm gonna continue the series because I need to like finish it, but I don't know, I wasn't really into it. Next book I read, oh my gosh, this might be the worst book I've ever read, and I'm being so for real. Oh my gosh, like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to be like so mean, but like, book was so bad. And obviously some people like it, but I'm just talking from my personal opinion. I give this book a 1 star. Okay, One Italian Summer by Rebecca Serle. 1 star. I'm sorry, like, it's not even the writing was bad. The writing was fine. The plot though, like, I'm a big cheater thing. Like, I don't like cheaters. That really puts me off from a book. Well, not always, actually. There's some exceptions, but like, this book was just like too much. Like, oh, and it was just so bad. So it was so bad. I can't even like talk about it. It's this girl named Katie. Her mom dies, and she acts like it's literally, she acts like her mom was like her literal soulmate, like love of her life. Like, I think she was in love with her mom. I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't know. Like, obviously, okay, hold on. Let me back up. I'm not saying that I wouldn't be absolutely devastated. Like, if my mom died, I don't even want to say that, but like, I would be like, yeah, I would be devastated, awfully sad. It's just Katie, she just like acted like her mom like did everything for her. Like, she acted like she's like incapable of like cooking a meal, doing the laundry, and like she's like 20s, 30s, something like that. Like, she was just so immature to me, and she was acting like incapable of like doing basic human things now that her mom died. I'm like, what, was your mom cooking every meal for you? Like, I don't understand. Like, she didn't live with her mom, I don't think. I don't know. I'm sorry, but she just made it too much of her personality trait. And then like, she goes to Italy because all of a sudden she's like married to this guy named Eric, which, justice for Eric. I absolutely love Eric. He was a king. And she's in a great relationship with Eric. Like, he seems like such a great guy. And he didn't do anything wrong. But all of a sudden, now that her mom died, Katie's like, she had a trip planned with her mom to go to Italy because her mom always like wanted to go to Italy with her or something. And like, Katie ends up going on the trip alone and leaves Eric. And she's like telling him that, I think we need like a break and everything. Which, okay, she said that, but Eric did not agree to that. So she goes off to Italy, and then she's like cheating on him and everything. And I'm like, when did Eric say that he wanted to take a break? He didn't. So back up. Sorry, I'm going off. The thing is, I guess like she didn't technically cheat, because like if you read the book, you'll say, but I don't know. Like, I hated this book. I just hated it. I could talk about it for hours. Like, I don't want to spoil anything, but like, I'm sorry. This book made me so angry. I think this was the worst main character ever. Like, I absolutely despised her. I'm gonna shut up now though, because I'm absolutely bashing this book right. Next book I read was Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. I don't know. I'm sorry. I gave this book 2 out of 5 stars. It wasn't bad. Like, I think a lot of people do like this book. I was just a little like, what am I reading? I don't know. I was just kind of really confused by the whole book, and it was so anticlimactic. Like, there was like this big buildup to this one thing. I was like waiting to like know what it was, and then it was so disappointing. There's no big drama here. It was just not good. It's about these like people that live at this like English boarding school, but like, it was like a weird school. Like, I don't even know what was going on. I might just be like stupid. Like, I generally get it. Like, I don't want to say anything, like spoil anything. I get it, but like, I don't really know why I was reading this. Like, what was the point? Okay, then I read this book, How to Read Poetry Like a Professor. by Thomas C. Foster. I'm not even gonna count that though, because that was just for my AP Lit class that I thought I was gonna take, but then I couldn't take it because it didn't fit on my schedule. That's the only reason I read that book. It was not good to me because I don't like poetry and it was pretty boring to me. I gave that a 2 out of 5 stars, but like, anyway, that's not really part of this. Next book I read in August was The Summer Will Be Different. This is actually the last book by Carly Fortune. I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. I didn't really like this book either. I also read a lot of these when I was like in a reading slump, but I also think the books put me in the reading slump because I didn't like any of them. So I don't know. This was about Lucy and Felix. So Lucy is going to meet her friend on Prince Edward Island, and she ends up going to this restaurant before her friend gets there, and she meets this guy named Felix, and she doesn't realize it's actually her best friend's younger brother. So Lucy and Felix, you know, they have a lot of chemistry, but then Lucy knows that she shouldn't be with her best friend Bridget's brother because her best friend Bridget told her that one of her rules was don't fall in love with my brother. So they have to keep it a big secret thing, but like they never really lose feelings for each other, yada yada yada, all this stuff. I didn't really like Lucy and Bridget. I forget, it was one of them were really getting on my nerves. Like there was like this big like secret that like Bridget had. Yeah, that was the thing that really put me off, was Lucy and her best friend had this like secret thing that was going on, and it was just like really annoying me. And Lucy and Felix, I just wasn't really getting chemistry. Like I didn't feel it. But the one thing that was good about this book, I guess, was kind of like the setting. That's like it. I mean, the writing was fine too, but like, so those are all the books I read in July and August. Every time I film one of these, I feel like it was a mess. Like I feel like I just said stuff that didn't make any sense, but oh well. At least I finally filmed it, so hopefully you enjoyed. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, Girl Scouts.